Thank you guys again for tuning into this channel. I'm your host, Will Smith, and this is WSC, where we cover tech, life, and entertainment. Today we have Jordan Hamad with his beautiful company today. Jordan, please tell us all about you. Give us a 411. Let us know what app you have on here today and, what's so interesting about it.
Yeah, thanks, Will. I appreciate it. Good to be here. So I run ChairSeven. We're a publishing services firm. We have a SaaS application called Cosmos, which is really exciting, universal capture for digital content and everything publishing. So we work with publishers and content producers, typically educational type content, not necessarily social media, but to help them understand what this digital landscape is like, what learners are after nowadays, which is more interactive content, not just the printed textbooks that we all know and love. Time to upgrade your life, so to speak.
Time to
and meet your audiences where they are. So Cosmos is a production platform for building digital content, digital educational materials, everything from video to print, interactive modules, things that really keep, students and our audiences engaged. Cosmos manages the licenses and distribution of your materials as well. So when we are talking about, how do you meet audiences where they are, if teachers are your audience, if you're trying to push reading materials to teachers in their classrooms, Cosmos ties in with every major learning management system today. So right out of the box, you can send your really amazing lesson plans, tutorials, videos, printed text directly to Google Classroom or Canvas or Blackboard, wherever your teachers are teaching, without doing any technical work, which is really great. So, for us, it's about impact, and the way that we can have impact in education is by getting great content and great materials into the hands of teachers by eliminating all that busy work and tech development effort.
Very nice, very nice. So the main one, right? What's the why? How did you start? What was your background before this? And what drove you to start not only ChairSeven, but Cosmos?
Yeah, so, growing up, I was never an amazing student. And it's not because I wasn't smart, it's just because I didn't really fit into the educational system mold. And we really believe that there are a lot of students who kind of mirror my experience. And so as we've gone along, ChairSeven started as a software development firm 12 years ago. And as we were thinking about where we kind of focused our efforts, education presented itself as a great vertical to work in. And we worked with a lot of publishers who were kind of thinking about, all right, well, how do we go from print and ship to digital delivery? But it's not a one-to-one translation, right? You can't just upload the textbook and say we did it. There has to be some kind of interactive material. People don't want to just now do this thing on their Kindle. And so we worked with publishers to help them envision, what new versions of printed content could be and could look like, and help them build that. And last year we took it one step further and said, wouldn't it be amazing if we had our own platform instead of building all these little disparate pieces, where everybody could kind of go and standardize this. And then our publishing partners can focus on building great content and not on building platforms and how do we tie this in and how do we get people to sign up and engage in yet another thing. Let's just meet them where they already are. One sign on, great content, better learning outcomes. So that's kind of the evolution of how we got from here to there. And I kind of keep in mind, is this something that I would want to use if I was a student again? Right? Would I learn from this thing in this way or not? So.
Very nice. And I echo that too, right? I wasn't the best, starting off. I think like you say, this school, it's a generalized way that we learn, and it could be more specialized for the particular person. But do you think this is more for example, high schools, grade schools, public schools, or would this be more for private or either at home use?
Yeah, so all of the above. So our publishing partners serve K through 8 higher ed and high school clients. And Cosmos supports the learning environment in all of those situations. So if we can help bring great content to you, we want to do that. It doesn't matter if you're, in second grade learning reading, or if you're, at the university level trying to figure out fluid dynamics. So we want to be there. So to give you a little example, Will, this is our sandbox. So Cosmos is a 3-part system. So we have Cosmos, we have Publisher, and then the client-facing portals. So for our publishing partners, everything looks like their brand. Everything is white labelable. And the clients that they sell to see their branding, they see their products, maybe to detriment to us. They don't see the Cosmos branding anywhere. But it's a great way because you've eliminated all of the technical work on our client side for them. And so it looks like they just built this amazing thing, and away we go. But as they're building content, they use the Cosmos side, which is this platform here. Excuse me. We allow you to create all sorts of different projects, and those can be any collection of discrete elements that you would like. So if we just went in here, discrete elements we represent as resources, and you can combine those into any project. We support all sorts of different content types. So you can build lessons, you can build assignments, lesson plans. We've got a bunch of different question types. If you're building interactives that you want students or somebody at the professional development level, say, to get a certification. And then all kinds of attachments, from images to videos and PDFs and PowerPoints. We have a lot of clients who attach other discrete units that they've built and are hosted on other websites. And you can direct link those and embed them right in your content, which is awesome. I think one other cool thing is that we don't limit your ability to upload content. So if you've got a bunch of videos, once you're on the platform, upload to your heart's content. There's no limit to what you can do. It drives me crazy when you sign up for something and they say, okay, you can upload 2 videos with a grand total of 5 minutes. It's like, that doesn't help me at all. So upload and go. We've got a client who just did 2,000 new video courses last week, which was really cool. So once you create your resources, those all get plopped here in the resources section in your project. And then once you've done everything that you came to do in terms of building your units, you organize these into sections, which is basically your scope and sequence or your table of contents, however you think about the book, quote unquote. And then once you have that, you can set your details, basic stuff, project type, titles, your description, things that you might expect. We do support tagging and standards, so if you're in the education game and you want to align your content to a set of standards, that is available here as well. And then, like any great editing platform, we do what we call snapshots, but it's analogous to versions. So you can publish, say a version 1 of something, but then be working on version 2 in the background and still have clients access version 1. And when you're ready, you publish version 2, everybody gets it, and you can do your next round of billing or whatever the case might be. So Cosmos is all about building your content, building your materials, getting that all set up. The publisher side of the platform is really the sales end of things. So this is where you take your projects and compile them into a product. So if we're looking at Matt's test product, for instance, in here is where you will set your languages, if there are grade levels that this pertains to, cover art, license terms, and then packaged content. So in here, you could potentially have a collection of books or one book. Some people do one-to-one mapping of projects to products. Others, depending on what they've sold, group together 50 videos and sell that. Um, and then when you are ready, this is where you'll set your copyrights and your purchasing details, any artwork that you have, and then you sell. So in order to do that, you add clients, you set your basically order details, and it will send that client an email, and they'll have access directly to that particular content for the duration that you set. One of the things we've noticed in the past, and I've actually done this before, is you license out, say, PDF for a year, and then you forget in a year that you've done that, and the client has it forever, and you've missed your revenue. Licenses are good for however long you set here in Cosmos, and when the license term expires, the client automatically no longer has access. So it's a good way to maintain control of your content if that's important to you, and increase revenue because it's not just out there forever.
That's a good question. I was going to ask, maybe could you dive in more about the licensing and the integration portion? Maybe some things that one of the viewers may be interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I were to set up a new quote, and I'm going to sell myself something, this is sandbox, so I probably am not even in here. But if I was going to sell Jordan Clark something, you'll get that confirmation email. You can then mark the status of the payment. So because we work in publishing, it's a little bit old school. Literally everyone collects a check with a PO. And so this is a manual process, but we do have a Stripe integration if you wanted to automate that. Once the client has marked this as paid, it'll become active, but the default is waiting for them to do that. So you set your license for any product that you've created. We can just do this one here. Set your start date, set your end date, and set how many seats you get. So if your clients are logging directly into the customer portal on Cosmos, this license quantity, if you were to do 100 seats, would correlate directly with logins. We also offer the ability to integrate through an LMS or another platform. So if you're selling to a school, for instance, that uses Google Classroom, teachers will log in directly with their G Suite logins, and that will count then against one of your seats here as well. So it could be a direct login, could be through an LMS. Again, we want to meet people where they are. So whatever platform you have, credentials you already have, bring those directly to the table. We set those individual URLs up as you onboard school districts or other clients. That's about a 5-minute setup for each. So it's pretty simple. And that's it for licensing. From an administrative perspective, straightforward.
Very nice. It looks very clean, very understandable, readable. I love when apps just overall visually have a appealingness to itself.
Yeah. If you've ever used, enterprise software, which I know you have, like, oh man, I don't want to go in there and do this anymore.
It's too much work.
Yeah. So we really try to keep it, powerful but easy.
Nice.
And you can see on this one, I've never logged in, but there's some analytics on usage, which is great. And then there's an active license for that 1A videos version 1.
Very nice.
Yeah, and that's really it. I don't want to trivialize it, but it's easy enough to use where it's also very flexible and powerful, so you can bring in all sorts of different types of content and compile those elements into. That's engaging for students, whether you're 5 or 50, which is awesome.
5 or 50, nice. No, it looks really good, man. Thank you for showcasing the application. Let's see. So, question I love to ask: what's the next generation, or what's the next year look like for you with Cosmos? Is there something that you want to sneak peek or maybe give a hint about that's coming later on this year?
Yeah, definitely. So we're thinking about AI, right? Who's not thinking about AI? But we're taking our time, because what we want to do is give publishers a way to really marry their content to teachers who will find immediate value in that material. So for instance, if I'm teaching a math class, right, and my students are just not getting it, like no matter what I do, I cannot get them to figure out how to do division. But somebody has really amazing division content. We want an AI platform to be able to think about marrying those two things together and making recommendations for teachers, which is great for publishers because that increases your impact and visibility as well. Of course, maintaining security and student confidentiality while we're at it. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but I think that this is an exciting year for us.
Awesome. Thank you again, Jordan, for showcasing ChairSeven and Cosmos. And thank you guys again for tuning into this channel. If you want the links in the description, or sorry, let me say it again. I always mess up. And thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you want to learn more about ChairSeven and Cosmos, I'll leave the links in the description. But once again, thank you guys for tuning into this video. Stay well, be blessed.